Everywhere I go, there's a complaint about my generation, my work generation, and it's horrendous. But on one end, we've empowered the world and shown the world that as long as you are assertive and you have a standpoint, you can get what you want. On the other hand, in terms of work, we've also shown people that we're a generation which we're very callous in how we deal with things. We don't really think about the consequences of things. So,
AKA you affect our mental health.
AKA anything, any slight inconvenience.
No, you affect our mental health when you live the way you do.
Oh, sorry, to the millennials, to the baby boomers, I am apologizing on behalf of my generation.
I'm traumatized.
But the same thing what I was told was, it's building resilience as a leader. You're being shown on how to handle different types of people. Because I feel like at times certain narratives are changed. As we continue this conversation, I'm actually online with you people and I do not see any questions. So I'm inviting us to have a Q&A because this is just us having a conversation based on the topic. But in addition to that, if you want to raise your hand and answer a question, please feel free to raise your hand. I am observing you, so please proceed. I will give you a shout out and feel free to raise your hand, ask any question. She is here for us and she is here to share with us. There's something powerful and scriptural you said. It has passed me, but I think it just touched my soul, but I'll get back there. So what's the advice to your younger self who just started a law firm? Starting a law firm in Kenya can be a bit dicey. You have professional indemnity, you have your accountant certificate. It's very expensive for people who do not know. So you start your law firm, you have a bit of insecurities because there's also that dicey bit where you're thinking, where am I getting clients from? And even when you have a few clients who you started with, how am I maintaining these clients? How am I going to grow this firm? You get your first employee. And
Senior is struggling with his gadget.
Yeah, so we have since realized today that we need to just give Senior Omwanta Okenyo a crash course on how Teams and Zoom works. He seated on our right. So you saw me moving on this side because I was being told, come closer to this side. In a few minutes he'll address you, but before then we don't want to put him on the spot. Yeah, so during that season, it comes with so much of pushing in a dark space. And if you're not grounded and spiritual and you don't consistently remind yourself that there's God somewhere and he's holding you and he has your back, it can get very depressing. So during that season, what advice could you give someone? What propelled you to where you are right now? What gave you the ability to show up in front of a camera at an interview and give your perspective about things? What gave you the ability to show up dressed as you are and in many other ways, looking very nice,
Gorgeous,
with your Dior and Chanel and all this design and labels, and just basically assert yourself in the power that you have?
I'm actually looking for the exact verse because that's what it was. Hebrews 11, because I serve God. Verse 1, now faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. And verse 6 says, and without faith it is impossible to please God, because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those who earnestly seek him. It's not about the work of your hands, it's more about rewarding those who earnestly seek him. Scripture also talks about it's not by power, not by might, but by his spirit. So we did not begin, and I say we because my partner and I, my brother, we did not begin with power or might. We began with his spirit. And we saw the favor of God in the hands of every single person we interacted with from the day we got the key to the space. So you've got to start with God, walk with God, and finish with God. You don't get to leave him somewhere when you start with him. But then he's like that fly that you just like, like he won't go away.
He's omnipotent, omnipresent.
Exactly. So if you involve him in the beginning, trust and believe he's going to walk that journey with you and he will not leave you or forsake you. So if you're talking about a God who's walking with you and he's the owner of cattle on 1,000 hills, but he's also the guy who will walk you through the fire. So you've got to be prepared to start with him, to allow him to have creative liberty in terms of building you up. And how are we built up? It's by walking through fires. It's by getting a client, losing a case, winning a case. Like it's up and down. Don't steal anyone's clients. I was once told by someone, I think it's my mom, the earth is big enough for every mosquito, and there are many, to fly without hitting each other. We are many as advocates, but we have more human beings on earth. who need our services. So you've got to trust that God, who allowed you to pass your bar exams, get admitted to the bar, is the same God who's going to see you through, get you clients. You don't have to bend over backwards, engage in wash, sleep around, sleep with clients, steal clients, engage in some strange practices. You can actually just walk with God, work hard. Like, there's a place also for working hard. If you don't work, you don't eat. It's not me saying, it's the Bible saying, right? So you work hard, be there. There were days when we had no clients for like a month, when we started. There's nothing going on. But I remember praying and God telling me, just show up every single day. And there was this one client who walked in and changed everything. And then a referral came. And then someone called me and said, listen, I want to share you a client. Because it's a transaction that I'm acting for both sides and I can't do that. And I've been observing you and I think you're good. And then another client, a walk-in client, came and said, I've been watching you. You come every single day and you leave late. I want you to handle our business. Because I've been watching you. You come every day and you leave late. So if not God giving you favor with people, then who?
No one.
And God will sustain your business. And that's not to say every I would say every Gen Z. I don't have an issue with Gen Z. Every advocate should start their own law firm, because then who'll work for who,
yes.
right? But if God gives you the grace to open your own business, then walk the journey with Him, but walk with wisdom. Have a plan, because we had a plan. Habakkuk 2 says, write down the revelation, for it awaits the appointed time. Though it tarry, it will not delay, and the righteous shall live by his faith. So write down the plan you have for your business. Not everyone is called to have a business. Just the same way, and I'm throwing shade here, not everyone is called to LSK leadership. But what you do, if you're called to something by God, then write out the revelation, pray about it, start putting something aside for it, it will work out.